Hiett, thank you for agreeing to role play with me on this fire session. Hiett's been a good friend of mine for a number of years, and he's a trade show consultant, a wordsmith with his best-selling book, That Ain't Not Right, and a member of the business success community. So I'll be talking with Hiett about using the NLP timeline therapy to overcome business networking issues. Now, many people use timeline therapy techniques to overcome specific networking challenges, such as fear of rejection, difficult in establishing rapport, and lack of confidence in networking sessions. We'll go through the session in a number of steps. An important aspect of timeline therapy is visualization. Sometimes visualization is confused with self-hypnosis, which is another great tool. Hypnosis requires going into a trance to access the subconscious mind. The visualization is a mental technique where we use our imagination to access vivid, detailed information and mental images of a desired outcome or a goal using a series of predefined steps. So the first step we're going to use is relaxation. And in it, I will be asking you, Hiett, to take some deep breaths. And when you do take those, I want you to think about how a baby takes a breath, and you'll see its stomach rising. They take deep breaths, so I want you to breathe deeply, and the next part of it, fill your upper lungs, and then finally think between the shoulder blades and filling that part too. So let's start with closing your eyes, Hiett. And now take a couple of deep breaths. And now I'd like you to visualize floating above your timeline. Step number 2 is identifying a troubled event. Can you tell me of a troubled event that you've had during networking experiences?
The fear of rejection.
Oh, okay. That's a very good one. So you want to reflect on that challenge that you're facing. Was there a particular belief that you had during that was holding you back?
Lack of knowledge level with the people I was talking with. Not having as much knowledge in the field that they were focused on.
Okay. I think those are great ones. Step number 3 is asking about guiding you to the first association with the negative emotion. And you've described some of those things. Let's go on to the next step, which is exploring that limited belief. Tell me how this belief has been affecting your business relationships.
I feel I am less knowledgeable to address the problems of those that I'm talking to. I feel undereducated.
Do you see them reacting that way as you talk?
I sometimes sense it. I may read into the situation the negative that I'm feeling. That may not even be there. They may be awestruck that they're talking with somebody that of my age that can even interact with them. Well, whereas I'm saying these people have got me. They are so over my head relative to what they're talking about.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's start exploring this limited belief. And what belief has been fueling this emotion?
My true lack of knowledge in the current communications tools that are being used.
Okay. So if you could find better communication tools, that would be a major thing to help you with eliminating this fear of rejection. Okay?
Correct. Yes.
So next we're going to challenge the belief. And here I want to ask yourself, is this belief absolutely true? Are there times in your networking experiences where you failed to have that fear of rejection?
Fail to have that fear of rejection. Yes. When I am talking about areas that I am the expert in, that I have confidence in, I overcome, I don't even allow that fear of rejection to come in. I become more of an educator and mentor in my area of expertise.
Okay, be sure to write that down. That is a good proof that you'll be able to replace that limited belief with one that will be much more positive. But first we have to release that emotion. So I want you to float again, close your eyes and float again above the timeline, and I want you to observe it from a very detached perspective and release the image that's tied to the event, like it was a ball that you had rolled up in your hand, and you throw it away. Okay? Then we'll go on to reframe that experience. And we're going to use a technique called anchoring. And anchoring is a physical activity or move that we do that results in creating an emotion. I'll give you an example. If you'll look at my hand, you'll see my thumb and forefinger are squeezed together. So go ahead and squeeze those two together. And what I think of is a time when I was the champion of 5 states in the sport of judo, and I was walking onto the mat and looking at that opponent across the mat and knowing that I would come out the strong winner. Tell me what instance you can relate to and visualize where you developed enough confidence where you had no fear of rejection.
In my area of expertise of trade show marketing, it was the Offshore Technology Conference where I had a 40 by 70 booth that I knew was the best booth in the show. And in fact, it was voted the best booth in the show. And part of that was because I knew it was.
Yeah, that's an excellent example. Let's talk a little bit about future integration. Visualize returning to your timeline and imagining some future networking sessions, which are real life networking sessions, and do some role playing where you are the potential contact or with a potential contact, and following up on the event. So focus using that new empowering belief during your intervention and your interaction. Now share with me some experiences that you gained from this exercise.
Well, it would be showing them that the avenue that I have expertise in, i.e. trade shows, is something they could and should use because it is going to be beneficial to them.
Excellent. All right, let's talk about, we call it journaling prompts, but this is writing down some of the things that you've learned that are influencing your networking now.
Well, realizing that I do not have to be an expert in all areas, and as long as I am focused on the area that I am not only an expert but an authority in, and simply applying it to whatever or whoever I'm talking to, I have the confidence and the ability to deliver on my promise.
So at this point in time, do you feel confident with your new mindset that you can apply them to business relationships?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's go on to an action plan. The first thing we want to do is set your empowering belief and then revisit it before each networking interaction. Secondly, we want you to write down that empowering belief and revisit it before every networking interaction. And use the timeline therapy technique that we've been discussing to address other limited beliefs that might arise. And believe me, they will. Everybody has limiting beliefs, and I know personally. I found that out. So by the end of this session, participants should have released a limited belief or negative emotion affecting their networking. They should have developed a positive and empowering belief to approach networking confidently, and they should be practicing their new mindset in real-world scenarios. So at this time, I'll call for any questions, and then thank you, Hiett.